Council in session, please stand for the Worshipful, the Mayor of the Borough Decorum, Councillor Catherine McCreevy.
Good evening and welcome to this meeting of the Council. I would ask members to remain respectful and adhere to the rulings of the Mayor at all times. Can I ask that all persons present turn off any Wi-Fi hotspots on your phones or electrical devices as this interferes with the meeting audio. Finally, I would remind everyone that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Photography may also take place as long as it does not prejudice the proceedings at this meeting. So, to agenda item 1. Does Council agree the minutes of the previous meetings held on the 22nd and the 12th of 25? Agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Members are reminded that if they have interest in respect of any item on this evening's agenda, they should declare them now. Apologies for the sound.
Councillor in Berkhamsted, there's an item on the agenda which the parish council's taken interest.
Thank you. So, agenda item 3, there is no public participation. Agenda item 4, under announcements, I would like to give you a short update. So I'm just going to talk about some mayoral activities that have taken place since the last meeting. Obviously, I can't mention them all because there's been a lot, but just want to acknowledge a number of Christmas light events that have taken place in our communities, many of our neighbourhood shopping areas, I believe 11 in total, that we've been to. And I just want to acknowledge the work that you've all taken in organising or attending them, and the wonderful feedback we've had from members of the community about how special these events have been. A huge thank you to Hemel Band that I've been at a number of them, and everyone who's been involved. Just to say, one of the more recent events we went to was the centre in the park. They had the children from George Street Primary School come along and sing some carols for the people attending the centre, and it was really well received, really, really lovely. We had a resident turn 100, David, who is a Watford football supporter. He went to the match the day after his birthday, and he was also a nurse for many years. So you can imagine David and I really hit it off. The Three Blackbirds pub in Boxmoor won Pub of the Year from a Mid-Chilterns camera for their real ale. Obviously, we had Remembrance Sunday, which many of you attended, both the event in Hemel, but also a range of local events. We had a couple of big anniversaries. So we had the 75th anniversary of Nash Mills Village Hall, where we had an afternoon tea and residents from the local nursing home came along. We also had the Bovingdon's Women's Institute 50th anniversary as well. North Church Brownies had a lesson on voting. It was a lesson using chocolate biscuits, which was well received. I heard all about the adventures of, there's a Mr. Brown Owl, and I got to hear about all of his adventures, which was quite amusing. The Brownies were very impressed. One day you'll find out who he is. He outed himself. The Dementia Hub in the Marlows, if anyone's not aware of it, please do look into it because it might be something that's of interest to your residents. We also had the 16 days of action, where we went to an event with Decorum Domestic Abuse Forum, and we had Small Business Saturday, where a number of events, many of us attended local small businesses and promoted them. And we, another one was another mayoral mascot, Gizzy the pony, who visited Mountbatten Nursing Home, who was very much there as a therapy pony. So anyone interested in therapy ponies, they're there. And finally, the Kenya's High Commissioner to the UK came to the Kenyans Association of Hearts Christmas dinner, and we had lots of conversations about a variety of things, but most importantly, how to make a cup of tea. And we didn't cause a diplomatic incident, but we didn't fully agree on the best way to make a cup of tea, so that's still up for debate. Anyway, I'll now move on. So if I could now ask Darren, do you have any announcements as Chief Executive?
Thank you. I'd like to confirm the following political change. Councillor Silwell is no longer a member of the Labour Party and will continue representing the Grove Hill ward as an independent councillor.
Thank you. So I will now invite the group leaders to give any apologies for absence on behalf of their groups.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm giving apologies for Councillor Smith-Wright, Councillor Gale and Councillor Patterson.
Thank you. Councillor Williams.
Apologies from Councillor Pound and Councillor Durrant.
Thank you. Councillor Mitchell.
Apologies for Councillor Ash, sorry.
It's okay, thank you. And if I could also ask our Democratic Services Officer to confirm if we have any other apologies.
Yeah, we've received apologies from Councillors Wilkie, Hobson, Kaposi, Santa Maria, Tyndall and Silwell.
Thank you. Now moving on to agenda item 5. I draw your attention to the portfolio holder updates as published with the agenda. I will invite questions against each item in turn. First, though, I will ask Councillor Sally Symington if she has a verbal update to give as leader of the council.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've got a brief update on local government reorganisation. So following the extraordinary council meeting here on the 12th of November, where we had an indicative vote on the preferred choice for Dacorum Borough Council, which indicated a majority of the council had a preference for the 4 unitary option. At the Cabinet meeting on the 18th of November, we agreed as a Cabinet to, and as I had said in the Chamber on the 12th, that we would listen and listen to the will of the Council. So we have submitted our preference by the 28th of November for the 4 unitary option. We also submitted a letter to the Secretary of State explaining that if the Secretary of State was minded to go for the 3 unitary option, which would split much of the Hemel Garden Communities growth area from Hemel, that we would be requesting an early boundary review to make sure that that growth area is in the same local authority as the rest of Hemel. I've heard today, so this is hot off the press, that the government has written to all the leaders and the chief executives in Hertfordshire to say that they will be moving ahead at pace, I quote, to hold a consultation which will start on the 5th of February, which is a little earlier than we're expecting, for 7 weeks. They will be consulting with our neighbouring councils, which includes up to 14 areas. And it will be a 7-week consultation with a view to notifying us, I think, in July of the result of that. The government's been very busy today. We've also, just after close of business, received the provisional government finance settlement for next year, 26-27, which includes details of the fair funding review and provides us with the much promised multi-year settlement. I don't have any details that I can pass on, but I know that officers will be working really hard to bring us the details of that in the coming days. and it was anticipated that we would receive this, by tomorrow at the latest. So just to say that we do have that information, there will be a consultation on it, and as I said, we'll be bringing you further news of that and how it impacts our budgets as soon as we have those details. Thank you.
Thank you. That's it. Councillor Freedman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm assuming we are able to ask questions to the leader.
Yes.
Thank you. The Jewish Festival of Lights, Hanukkah, commenced on Sunday this week and continues for 8 nights. Like the midwinter festivals of many other cultures, it's a peaceful celebration promoting family, community, wholesome and sustaining food, and hope for the future, even in the deepest darkness. I hope the leader and the rest of this chamber will want to share with me in expressing my horror and sadness at the news from Sydney, where dozens of innocent people were gunned down on Bondi Beach at a Hanukkah ceremony, not for what they were doing, but simply because they'd been born to Jewish parents. Victims as young as 10 who'd never left Australia, killed because the gunmen thought them less than human. I would ask the leaders to express the Council's condolences and support to the families affected, but also our reassurance and unconditional acceptance of the Jewish residents of Dacorum, who will no doubt be feeling unsettled and anxious at these events. You'll note I'm not expressing my shock, because I'm not shocked at this at all. Since 2016, our society has consistently slipped into normalising hateful rhetoric against others, with mainstream media publishing and giving platforms to racist, sexist, xenophobic, transphobic and homophobic language and content, to name but a few. We have progressively tolerated worse and worse expressions and excused them as opinions or justified them because our victims looked like or shared names that sounded like someone that did something we didn't like. More and more of what we felt was extreme and unconscionable moved closer to being acceptable, until someone half a world away felt it was a completely valid action to murder a bunch of people they didn't know on a summer's evening sun was setting. Hate speech always has a victim, and there should be no level of hate that we accept in our society. So would the leader agree with me that the Council's recent measures, like opening the confidential hate crime reporting centre at the Forum in October this year, the Cabinet's public support for anti-hate initiatives like the White Ribbon Day in November, and the Council's own Equality, Diversity and Belonging strategy launched this year are absolutely vital to communicating a zero-tolerance approach to hate speech in our communities. And can I ask how members in this chamber can do more as leaders in those communities to make hate speech unacceptable once again?
Thank you. Councillor Symington.
Thank you, Councillor Freedman. Appreciate that for you this is personal, and for all of us, our hearts and sympathies go out to anybody and everybody who is affected by this. And what happened on Bondi Beach was truly, truly tragic, as have other events that are similar, been equally, truly tragic. And those divisions within our communities are ones that we, as leaders, must make every effort to work to healing. So yes, I'm happy on behalf of the Council, and I really hope that the other side of the chamber will join me in extending our condolences to everybody who's been affected by this and their families. Somebody I know's son was there, and he was on the beach just 15 minutes before this happened. So we are always only, all of us, one remove away from these tragedies being very close to us. In terms of what we can do as a council, obviously the example needs to be set here with all of us. And one of the things that you didn't mention, which is something that lots of councils have taken on board, is the Debate Not Hate campaign. And I think that we should all remember that this is a very active campaign in very many councils, and I would very much like to see this council sign up and join up to it, so that we act as we expect and we want to lead our communities to do by treating each other with respect and debating and not exhibiting hate when we're doing so. You mentioned a number of other activities that the Council's been involved in, White Ribbon Day, the confidential reporting line, and these are all really important initiatives, including our EDBI initiatives as well. And I hope, as again, that everybody in the Chamber will take those initiatives into their communities and promote the goodwill amongst all our diverse communities and encourage everybody to work together collaboratively for the good of everyone in Dacorum.
Thank you. We're having a technical issue with microphones. Was there anyone else that wanted to speak? And if you do, I might need you to raise your hands. No? Okay. Thank you. So, thank you. I'll now move on to the Place portfolio. I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor England on his update. Councillor Mitchell.
Okay, I was just checking that the microphone's working. I just wondered if the portfolio holder for Place would join with me in congratulating the management team at the Old Town Hall for attracting such high-class acts as they have done this year, including Michael McIntyre and Cruz Beckham, which is really a great accolade to the very, very good work that the management team and all employees at the Old Town Hall do. That's for Councillor England. And also a follow-up question to that.
Sorry, can we let him answer that and then we'll move to a follow-up? Thank you.
I got a nod, so I didn't realise you were going to speak, Adrian.
Yes, very happy to second that. I think we can be very proud of our Old Town Hall, which is small but mighty.
Okay,
now you follow up.
A follow-up question, which is what can we do to ensure that the Old Town Hall remains independent and retains its quirkiness post LGR to make sure that it's not taken over by a larger organisation?
Thank you. I mean, I think we're all proud of the Old Town as a particular part of Hemel, and the Old Town Hall in particular has recently been performing, punching above its weight. We had a report which came to this council earlier in the year, which clearly laid out that the Old Town Hall is very much at the small end of the scale, and that presents it with certain challenges which I think have been heroically overcome by the people who are pushing things forward at the moment. One thing that we know about people is that they can't be relied upon to stay forever, and indeed it's not always that healthy if they do. I'm not making any suggestion that they won't, and I really hope that Stuart will stay on board for a long time because he's doing great work. It's similar can be said about councils. They may not stay forever. We've heard already tonight that perhaps the pace of LGR is nudging slightly faster, and we can't say what will happen. We don't even know at the moment whether the successor authority will be half of Hertfordshire or another fraction. So I would love to give more comfort, but actually we can only control what happens as long as this administration is in charge. Change of administration sometime in the future, whether that's through LGR or any other circumstances, could lead to a change of policy. So I have to be really clear with you about that. We have, apologies for the long answer, but hopefully a full one. We have brought forward the strategy on arts and culture, which very much focuses on building strength in depth in this borough in terms of arts and culture. And I think that it is a strategic point that by having strength in depth, we can reach higher heights in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Harden, please.
Thank you. Can I ask the portfolio holder, I noticed in the recent budget scrutiny we had, the master plan for Hemel Hempstead Town Centre. I have asked officers if they can give me a bit more information as to what is in that paper. I haven't had a response from officers yet, so I wonder if the portfolio holder is able to inform us, other than the title, what kind of ideas or suggestions you have for Hemel Hempstead Master Plan Town Centre. Thank you.
So the Hemel Place master plan is work that is ongoing. Obviously, we have the development, the investment partnership now, which stands ready to help us to develop and to regenerate Hemel Hempstead. I was together with Councillor Williams. I think was at a workshop, which I think was last week, where we were very much digging into the future of Hemel Town and how we can strategise on that. I think I'm right in saying that there is going to be a paper coming forward to scrutiny in the new year, and that will be in the time-honoured fashion, the way that the shape of what is planned is laid out to members.
Thank you. Any follow-up? No. Okay, Councillor Doris, please.
Thank you very much indeed, Mayor. Can I share or join with Councillor Mitchell in her comments regarding the Old Town Hall, and in particular congratulate the management of the Old Town Hall in securing a grant of £19,500 from the Theatre Trust Investment Fund, and this demonstrates the work that they're doing in the Old Town Hall, and along with all the other acts that they're getting in, it's becoming really quite a jewel and a place where people want to come, people with nationally known names and internationally known names. They want to come and perform at the Old Town Hall in their run-up to major arena tours, and this is something to be commended. But not only those, it's also the dramatic acts and the theatrical acts that we have, and the other acts that take place in the Old Town Hall and in the Cellar Club. So well done, the Old Town Hall, and I hope everybody will agree with me. And that was my question.
I agree with Councillor Douris that it is amazing what is happening in decorum these days. I wonder what can be the factors behind that.
Councillor Doris.
It's mainly the quality of the audiences that go there.
This being pantomime season, I won't give an answer to that.
Thank you. Okay. Any further questions? I think that was everybody. So we'll now move on to people and transformation, climate and ecological emergency portfolio. Unfortunately, Councillor Smith-Wright is not able to be with us this evening. So if there are any questions for her, I would ask that you please direct them by email to Democratic Services, who will ensure that any answers are shared. So, to the Housing and Property Services portfolio.
Mayor, could I just make a comment? I would have asked a question, but if I can just make a comment, which is perhaps reference to the Leader of the Council, because I did notice that in Councillor Smith-Wright's report, there's a number of elements that relate to other areas and other portfolios, which could easily be answered by other portfolio holders. And what's happening is that Councillor Smith-Wright is actually writing about them, and then they're being repeated. So perhaps we could actually just look and let, if I may be so bold to suggest, that the portfolio holders answer those items, even though they may be transformative, and they get the credit for it, or not the credit, doesn't matter which, and Councillor Smith-Wright concentrates on her portfolio specifically, going forward.
I think we'll take on board those comments moving forward, but obviously for this evening, she's not here, so we'll, any questions we'll email. Okay, so to the Housing and Property Services portfolio, I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor Diani on her update. Councillor Mitchell, please.
Is the portfolio holder aware that there are a number of small EV chargers in a close in Gadebridge that are not being used at present, and they are the only EV chargers in Gadebridge? The close is Marchmont Close. It's a new development. I think it was the first year of my term.
Thank you for the question. So just to understand the question properly, do you mean within the housing development, the EV charging is not being used? They're delivered as our promise that we would be providing EV charging, and we understand that people are gradually acquiring electric vehicles. So I am aware that they're not fully in use at the moment. But thank you for raising that.
Okay, my follow-up question is there a way that we other people in the locality who do have electric vehicles and would like to use EV chargers?
I'm more than happy to take this back and check the viability, and if it's an option, certainly we'll look into it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Doris.
Thank you, Mayor. I asked a question, and you know I asked a question, because you got somebody else to reply to it. But I asked a question in the October Council meeting and received an answer on the 10th of December. My question was, how many homes have been commissioned and delivered since the election in 2023? And I got a comprehensive answer to it, spanning 8 items. And when you read the answer very carefully, and here's the question, it is very clear that the answer to my question is none. Do you agree, yes or no? And if no, explain why not.
Councillor Diani.
Thank you. And the answer is yes. We have added homes for resident this term after May 2023 through acquisitions, buybacks and specialist provision. You can't undermine those homes because they are in fact rather quickly available. It's literally key to the door. And we've also delivered new council homes that were in the inherited build pipeline, which you've seen in the response. In parallel, we've also commissioned the delivery vehicle. The Decorum Investment Partnership and its first business plan is coming forward, with initial schemes starting on site in 2026-27 that balances immediate delivery with responsible commissioning, so we keep adding homes sustainably. So yes, answer is a yes. There are 8 homes we've acquired, 1 buyback. We've refurbished temporary accommodation which were not in use. We've also acquired 5 safe spaces with dens. We can't choose to not acknowledge those acquisitions of homes. And again, in the report it says that we would be delivering further 230 homes via sustainable 50-50% method with this investment partnership. So I'm afraid it's not a no, it's a yes. And again, just to explain why I think that's the route we've taken. Because acquisitions are fast, value for money delivery. They put keys in the door now, reduces temporary accommodation cost and protect the HRA. Every acquired home houses a family immediately, and that is a delivery. That is not a delay. We used external grant to add homes. That's leveraging national funding, not burdening HRA. Adding further to that, yes, the houses we've delivered were acquired through a pipeline which was commissioned by previous administration, but delivering those homes was the priority. In this 2-year period, we're already working on a delivery pipeline which is going to be sustained long term. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Councillor Doris, do you want to come back?
I do. I think your definition of yes and no varies somewhat from my definition of yes and no, because you are using items which are out of date in those terms.
Councillor Doris, may I remind you to ask a question? Is there a question here?
I'm very grateful to you. I'd slipped into the vernacular of some of the colleagues, perhaps in other parts of this chamber, of not necessarily answering a question right at the very beginning. So I'm very grateful and thank you very much.
No problem.
The question is, would you agree that I think that my definition of yes and no varies from your definition of yes and no? And I think
Thank you. Was that the question? Would you agree that my definition of yes and no differs from yours?
Yes, but I'm not going to go into another question, but I'm just going to give an explanation to the background of my question.
I think we'll focus on the question. So the question is, does your definition of yes and no differ from mine? So I'll go to Councillor Dayani to answer that, please.
I imagine yes, because I've given you very clear answers to why it's a yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Any further questions?
I had my two.
Not for you, for anybody else. Okay. We will now move on to corporate and contracted services portfolio. I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor Allen on his update. Councillor Doris, your light is still on. Thank you. Councillor Bowdell, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Like Councillor Doris, I asked a question in the October meeting. Mine was on public toilets, action point FC10. Unlike Councillor Doris, though, I'm yet to receive a response. So when can I expect that?
Councillor Allen, please.
I think you'll find that I tried to give an answer last time, but it was directed to the wrong portfolio holder. And so whilst the minutes do say that I was going to respond, there needed to be a response from a different portfolio holder. So apologies that that has fallen between two stools. But in terms of closures of public toilets, there used to be 19 public toilets open in the borough, 11 of which were closed in 2009. There are currently, some have reopened, some further ones have closed. There are currently 6 public toilets open across the borough. I can provide the locations if you wish. And there is a paper being prepared by officers to look into either their full, partial refurbishment, including whether there should be a charge for their use. And that will be coming to council and scrutiny in the coming months.
Thank you. Councillor Bowdell, any follow-up? No. Okay. Okay, no further questions. So, finally, to the neighbourhood operations portfolio, I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor Bromham on his update. Okay. Councillor Guest, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Does the portfolio holder believe that it is wrong for non-disabled drivers to park in disabled bays?
Yes.
Councillor Guest.
Thank you. During the county council election campaign this year, blue badge holders approached me telling me how they were unable to park in nearby disabled bays because the bays were occupied by vehicles without blue badges, so they had to park some distance away and suffered as a result. I was willing to use my county council's highways locality budget to make the bays enforceable, but...
Is this a question?
Yes, it is a question, but I need to give the background to the question. I was willing to use my county councillor's highways locality budget to make the disabled bays enforceable, but Decorum did not have the resources to enforce. Now, would Decorum be able to hold an education campaign to educate drivers to not park in disabled bays if they do not have blue badges?
Councillor Bonham.
I agree with your concerns. Exactly how enforceable the disabled bays are in residential streets, my understanding is they're not very enforceable. It's down to people's own sort of moral judgment about how they use those spaces, and there's all sorts of similar issues about obstructing pavements and so on. I don't see that there's any particular message that people are not understanding about not parking them in the disabled bays when they don't have a blue badge. I think that there are other issues about obstructing pavements and so on, which are perhaps have more ambiguities. Anyway, I'll take your comments on board.
Thank you. Councillor Mitchell, please.
Is the portfolio holder aware that the path in Guilbridge Park that was closed temporarily for assessment also has an issue with a bump where the two lips and the join in the path meet, and this is an issue for disabled people in wheelchairs, so is anything being done about that at all?
Sorry, a join where on the paths? I'm not aware of this.
It's where the two lips meet, so I could give you further information after the meeting.
Oh yes, thank you. And on the path in general, yeah, there was an update in my report, and there has been quite a lot of progress made. Unfortunately, the surface material is very sensitive to water content, and despite having extra drainage in there, we'll have to wait until the new year before that can be relayed properly. And it might be possible to start using the path again without that surface material, just using the substrate. So that's going to be assessed.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll certainly have a look at if there's any areas where it might be obstructing wheelchairs or causing trip hazards and so on. I mean, I've walked it a few times, so I'll look out for that next time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any follow-up?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Timmis, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This slightly overlaps with Councillor Smith-Wright's portfolio, but it concerns fly tipping, which is a scourge in my area. Councillor Smith-Wright said that there's a new online form which can now be filled in. Would you agree that actually it would be much more helpful if there was a phone line and that people could phone? Because by the time they got home or whatever and got onto it, they're probably not so likely to be bothered. So I think it would be much more helpful if somebody could contact the department by phone. It also occurs to something like a tree falling across a road. You know, by the time you got home, it might have been more of an accident or something else happening. So I think it'd be helpful if you have a phone number, because I do find that the department, from my personal point of view, is very difficult to get hold of.
Thank you. Councillor Bowman, please.
Yes, I agree. Your question relates to the People and Transformation portfolio, really, because it's to do with the web portals rather than the fly tipping itself. But I should mention that there is a testing going on at the moment, as you know, of the new portals, and so the ease of use of the telephone line. I really hope you'll put comments into that review.
Thank you. I do have a
Councillor
second
Timmis.
question, if I may.
Yes, you may. As long as it relates, obviously, it's follow-up.
Sorry?
It's a follow-up, so it relates to...
It's a follow-up, but it's not exactly the same subject, but it does relate to your the portfolio.
Okay.
It's you did a section here on Guilbridge Park and the River Gade, and I think that's been excellent. And now my question is, when will you be starting on the River Bur?
Yes, I know it's your favourite subject. It is quite a small river in your neck of the woods. I know there's a lot of work going on in St Albans, which I'm keeping a close eye on further downstream there. And as I mentioned before, I do have regular meetings through the Colne Catchment Action Network with the Thames Water and the Environment Agency and so on, and there's a lot of brainstorming going on about how to produce general improvements on all of the chalk streams, including the Ver.
Thank you. Councillor Elliott, please.
Good evening, Councillor. With fly tipping, in the ward that I represent, Children Warner's End, we have 4 big recycling bins and they attract fly tipping, and probably once or twice a week I and my fellow councillors have to report it. What's your opinion on just taking those bins away? Because most people should have their own recycling as we do curbside, so what's your thoughts on it? It's not a trick question, just your thoughts on it, whether, I would like them to get taken away, but just your thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's a hot topic, thank you for that. The bring sites, as they're called, really were brought in probably 20 years ago before people had home recycling facilities. And then about over 10 years ago, everybody got blue lid bins and now food waste containers and so on. And so you kind of wonder what the function of those bring sites is. They cost a lot of money to maintain, they attract fly tipping, rubbish blows out of them, they get abused because people put all sorts of rubbish in them. And they're a little bit of a blight on the neighbourhood centres. So my initial reaction was just take them all away. But there is a consultation in progress at the moment, just to double check that there aren't really some people who are relying on them, and if they are, to make sure that alternative provisions are made. So hopefully it will make our neighbourhoods nicer and save the council money by removing them. But we've got to go through these procedures to make sure it's the right thing to do.
I know, I've got a slight follow-up one.
Thank you. Is it supplementary?
Supplementary.
Yes, and it's related to the same subject.
I can assure you.
Thank you.
I can totally assure you, I'm unlike my fellow councillor. With the 4 bins, there's actually a charity metal box. How would we look to get that removed? Can we remove it? It's on our property, but it's in between, where they put all the fly tipping. Are we able to say, look, come on, this is just attracting fly tipping to the charity and get it taken away? Is that possible?
Well, so beside the blue lid bins, we do have a contract with a company, which I think is the contract is shared across all of Hertfordshire for textiles and that's waste electrical and electronic equipment. And the textiles tend to be self-financing, so there's a lot of charities that collect that stuff. We sometimes get plastic bags through the front door to collect them.
Councillor Bromlin, may I suggest that you liaise after the meeting with Councillor Elliott specifically around that bin, because we've got other people want to ask questions. So, Councillor Harden, please.
Well done, Mayor, thank you very much. 2 quick questions. One is, you state in your report that there's going to be a planted fencing along Leighton Buzzard Road in Gadebridge Park. I just wondered if you could tell me where the funding for that is coming from. And if
Thank you. We'll do that first.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how the funding works. I'm more interested in the function of it. If it can happen, then that's fine. I don't look a lot deeper than that.
Thank you. So that will go to your follow-up. I know we've hit the 10 minutes, but...
Thank you. Just to highlight, the funding is coming from SIL with the approval of local councillors for Hemel Town, just so you know where the funding for that is coming from. My other question regarding the path, I know that a couple of councillors have mentioned the path.
So the path is a separate subject.
Okay, but I didn't get an opportunity to kind of ask it when the question was originally asked. It was just a question of my concern around... I
think, given that we've hit the time, if that was the most important question, I would have probably asked that first.
No, I'm happy with the other one.
But
Thank you.
Okay, so we're now going to move on to agenda item 6, business from the last council meeting. All updates are provided in the action point list as published under agenda item 6. Are these agreed as noted? Thank you. Agenda item 7, I will invite the leader of the council to introduce the referrals from cabinet. Oh, hello. Sorry, your mic isn't working.
Apologies. I'm a parish councillor in Kings Langley. I should be very interested in item 7. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Councillor Madden.
Thank you. I actually would suspect that probably half the people in this room are parish councillors somewhere, so I don't know if we should all have declared it, but I am too.
Thank you. Can the parish councillors who may have a conflict of interest, another interest, just raise their hands, please? We've got... It's easier than everybody standing up and doing it, so just give us a minute. Keep the hands up there. Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes the old-fashioned way works very well, doesn't it? Okay, so I now invite the leader of the council to introduce the referrals from cabinet, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So item 7.1, CA 9125, Town and Parish Grants. I move the recommendations as set out under item 7 of the agenda. Do I have a seconder?
I second it.
Are the recommendations agreed?
Agreed.
Madam,
Councillor Doris, please.
Thank you very much. You'll know that over a number of meetings I've made various representations regarding the Warden's grants and the parish and town grants. I commend Councillor Allen for his contribution and his forbearance in dealing with a number of issues that have come about during these discussions. I think it's probably fair to say that the majority of the parish councils are not comfortable with the outcome as being proposed in its totality at cabinet. But we realise, and I think everybody realises, that we can't overturn the cabinet decision. And tonight we are considering only the £200,000 drawdown from the reserve. And that, I think, is to be welcomed. And I hope that going forward in the early part of next year, there'll be an opportunity to consider whether it's been in the full panoply of the council chamber or in a separate area, the way that the £200,000 grant can actually be distributed so that we actually get the best value out of it. And it benefits the parish councils appropriately. So it's with something of a heavy heart that I'm going to say that I will be supporting this going forward. But at the same time, I do recognise that it's my responsibility, and I think probably my colleagues' responsibility on all sides, to recognise that we have to support the parishes that we represent, whether it's as a parish councillor, or more importantly as a decorum councillor in this area. So I felt I need to make that representation.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry. So, to be clear, this was already agreed. So they're agreed, and your comments are noted, Councillor Doris. So we will now move on to Councillor Symington's second item, please.
Sorry, thank you. Madam Mayor, can I have a point of clarification? Once the cabinet items are agreed, are we allowing speeches afterwards about them? Or should the debate take place ahead of the agreement?
It should be ahead, yes.
Thank
but we
you.
didn't spot the signal quick enough because we didn't spot it. So, but thank you for pointing that out. So if you could Bring the next one, please.
Thank you. So item 7.2, CA 9525, Financial Monitoring Report Quarter 2, 2025-26. I move the recommendations as set out under item 7 of the agenda. Do I have a seconder?
Seconded.
Agreed.
Thank you. So, agenda item 8, overview and scrutiny referrals, there are none. So moving on to agenda item 9. Are there any changes to committee membership?
There are no changes from the Liberal Democrat group.
Councillor
Yes, there are
Williams.
3 changes from the Conservative group. I will replace Councillor Walker on DMC. I will replace Councillor Binder on health. And Councillor Dawes will replace Councillor Binder on licensing.
Thank you. Councillor Mitchell.
Councillor Greenfield will replace Councillor Silwell on audit, and Councillor Pete Hannell will replace myself on DMC. Thank you.
Thank you. So that brings us to agenda item 10, which is changes to committee dates, and there are none. So finally, onto agenda item 11, I invite Councillor Allen to introduce the 2026-27 Council Tax Base Report.
I move the recommendations as set out in the Council Tax Base for 2026-27 report, which is included with the agenda for this evening's meeting. Do I have a seconder?
I second the recommendations.
Are the recommendations agreed?
Agreed.
That concludes the business of this evening's meeting. Thank you.